we need to hear
public
more,
input or
need more
whatever.
public input on that aspect of it.
And then we can move this to the agenda for next week and just have it on our next meeting.
You want it on as a public hearing and provide, I've heard some pretty good feedback here, so I can do some more research and maybe gather some more additional information.
I think if we
I
can
think it's important.
possibly just give you the charge to contact North Berwick and see if they could provide us with some information. Does everybody feel good with that?
Well, do you know the number on that board, that,
On their board or on their budget committee?
the budget committee? Rather?
I think the budget committee's 5, just like the board.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that,
pretty
you gotta have an
decent.
odd number.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I think it should be elected too.
I agree, I think it should be elected. I don't know whether you want a show of hands in here, or whether you're looking for more people than this, or what, but,
I guess we're in the preliminary stages
Yeah.
right now. If we can hear from them,
Yeah.
you know, and, I mean, how many people would say that they would want an elected budget committee?
In here?
Yes, in here,
How many in here thinks it should be elected?
yeah,
As opposed to appointed?
as opposed to appointment.
About half.
Yeah.
I think it's more than half.
Who would
Use that
want
green
it?
card, use that green card.
You got your green cards, for sure.
So,
Wait, I got two. For sharing.
So we would have, you know, right?
You have to use some midget.
So we would have to, if we could contact North Berwick and see what they choose for a guidelines
Format,
for their format, and maybe we could put that on the warrant for the next meeting, on the agenda, and we'll go forward on that. Their opinion is really good.
The other thing you have to be careful of, in Berwick especially, and no offense to Peg, but the school costs $500,000 a month now.
Oh, yeah.
You could cut the town budget 3%, if the school goes up 1, your taxes are still going up.
Oh, yeah.
we know that,
I mean, you have to kind of work with the school too.
yeah. Well, Tom,
See, the school is a.
No, I don't mean-
Within themselves.
But I mean, as they get close, what is your number
Yeah.
gonna be as compared to our number?
we do,
Yeah.
and I take no offense, and believe me, we take it very, very seriously. I think we've talked about, had the same conversation about having more eyes, because it helps, with the bigger the budget, the more useful that is.
Yeah.
But I will repeat that we need to be careful about how we do development. We are tilting the scale of the budget in our direction farther every year, and that's gonna get more and more unbearable for the residents of Berwick.
Okay, we will move forward to new business. Would you like to take over?
Thanks for filling in there. Sergeant Chambers. I'm late, I had a late doctor's appointment, so I went later than I even thought, so excuse me for that. Was there any other unfinished business, Keith?
Not to my knowledge.
Approval of the account payable warrants haven't been done.
Do we have them signed?
Mhm.
Okay, let's take care of them then.
Okay, I move that we accept the following warrants as they were presented to us. Town warrant number 1216 in the amount of $159,218.41. Also town warrant number 1217 in the amount of $74,135.16. And also water warrant number W1217 in the amount of $71,594.87.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay, back in regular order. New business, appointment to Recreation Commission.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Recreation Director had provided to me leave it up to Kim.
Yeah, I don't see Tracy here. You need to,
You don't see it?
no. She had to, get relief for the children for her
Okay,
husband's work.
well, give us your opinion then.
I think she would be a great asset to the rec commission. She came last night to our trunk and treat and was a great help, and, we've lost another member of the committee, so we definitely do need a full board. So, I highly recommend her, and have no reservations. What else would you like to know? None at all.
Okay,
Anything else you wanna know?
everyone comfortable voting her in without meeting her?
Well, I met her
No,
last
we need
night,
to resign.
because I worked with the Country Street, and I will have to say that they worked hard last night, and I gave out books at the library, and I have never seen it when there's been so many kids. For 1 hour, I never even took a breath hardly, and it was very successful. And more parents said, and I think this needs to be said, that, you know, it's great the town does this. It's great the library puts out there. So we got a lot of compliments last night, and those girls worked hard downstairs getting things ready, and then outside, and it was cold at the end.
Well, the snow hasn't melted yet, so I guess it was.
I move that the appointment be forwarded.
Second.
Any more discussion on it? All in favor?
As you can tell, it was good.
Thank you very much.
Next, board discussion of the Attorney General's letter dated October 24th, 2011. I'm gonna let, Keith, give a little response to it, and I'll probably say something, then I'll open it up to the board.
When we received the letter, it was received by us by email, indicating some their review of the matter, and I think the issues that I had, and I pointed out in a memo to you all a while back, and I attached it to your documents this evening, where there were really 3 areas that I felt that needed to have some addressment by the board. Now, I'm not naive to think that I'm gonna take appropriate action tonight, but I think maybe there's some discussion that needs to occur of those 3. And the last one, and I'll take it out of order, was the report that indicated that there was contact to the Secretary of State's office in reference to the town clerk and her process in this whole matter. I can tell you that the town clerk was very proactive in contacting the Secretary of State's office after the letter. And I think at this juncture, the Secretary of State's taken the letter under advisement and will be back to the town at some time in the future to decide what we need to do. But we did outline to them the changes that have been made since this issue back in June. It brings us back to the 3 areas that, and I'll just highlight them very quickly, and then we can either go back over them or decide what you as a board wish to do. And the 3 have to do with, the first one is that the Attorney General's office, and the Attorney General in particular, specified that the deadline in the process of advertising the bids may be flawed. And what he was alluding to there is part of the MRSA 946 has a phrase in there that says, after duly advertising the same at least twice during a 7-day period prior to the acceptance of bids. It's his impression, after I read that, it's his impression that the bid process that is used by the town should include, it could include all the 3 that we did in May, but it should also include at least 2 between a 7-day period prior to opening the bids. Now, he also advises within the letter that we should contact town council to provide some further guidance reference to that material. I've done that. I've contacted Attorney Shepherd. He was on vacation last week when I provided this to him. He said that in the next week or so, he'll be able to address that issue and provide some thought on the matter to you. So I would say that at some point you'll have that in front of you. Secondly, and I think that one of the comments that was made prior to the meeting tonight, or at tonight's meeting by Mrs. Wheeler, indicates that the process that we've used in the past in terms of notification, if somebody comes in and asks us how many bids that we've received, that we may want to revisit that as a municipal officials and provide, I can tell you what we've done in the past. If somebody's walked in and say we've got bids that are open on X amount of date, and somebody walks into the office, be it the town clerk's office or anything, the bids are usually kept in the town clerk's office in an envelope, and they're marked bids. If somebody walked in and asked how many bids were, the clerk could go over and open up the folder and say, well, we have 3 bids that are in here, or we have no bids that are in here. He is indicating with his process here that we may, as a board, want to revisit that, of how, if in fact we're going to divulge that information to the public in general. It could be, somebody could walk up that may be a bidder, and I guess my thought was, should somebody have to recognize themselves as being a bidder, or should they just tell us that they're just curious as to whether we received any bids? We've had phone calls on this, so on and so forth. So we need to fine tune how you wish as municipal officials for us to follow through with that. If the decision is not to provide any information, so be it. If it's something else, then we'll do that. But that's the second piece that I think we need to look at. And the third piece is the piece on the real estate transactions, and he refers to our ethics policy, and in there he quotes several pieces of it and feels that the ethics policy may need to be looked at, reviewed, and examined to address some of these thought process. I think with your complete review of the tax-acquired property policy, you may be addressing that issue, because I believe in your policy now, you prohibited municipal officials and family members of participating in that process. So you may have addressed that, but that's the other piece in here that I think needs further review and reflection by the board. So those are the 3 pieces I see, and I'll certainly leave it up to you folks for further discussion.
My feeling is we should put this in writing in the policy section of operations. That way it's clearly defined. I'm a little disappointed in the Attorney General in stating that you have to notify people 7 days prior to the bid opening. Because if the bid is of any size, advertise it, I should say, 7 days prior. If the bid is of any size or of any volume of money, generally speaking, it takes more than 7 days to put a bid together. This is, to me, asinine to think that you're gonna have to do it in 7 days. If a company is large enough that they can hire personnel to do this specific job, that's one thing. But if a company is relatively small, it doesn't give them a whole lot of time. I personally don't see any reason why we couldn't institute a change in this policy, still advertise what he'd like 7 days prior to the actual bid opening. But we also could put into our policy that it would be advertised 30 days in advance of the bid opening. There's nothing that precludes us from doing that. The only thing the statute says is it has to be done twice within 7 days to the bid opening. But you can do it, you follow what I'm saying, you do it 30 days in advance. I guess what that does, it gives a potential bidder at least an option. Now, some folks like to wait till the last minute to bid, and that's their business. But at least the notification, I think, is fair to offer that in advance to that group. I don't think it's fair to put out for a bid on a $500,000 job and expect them to give us good figures in 7 days. It just doesn't make sense.
We can probably kind of combine that with the way
I think it
we've
would
been
be
doing
good
things in the
policy.
past. Continuing policy we've had in the past, combine the two together.
That would be my recommendation.
I
I
did-
don't know, does the public have any input there?
But was that just on real estate?
I'm sorry?
Was that just on real estate, or was that
Yes.
all bids?
Just real estate. He's addressing that specifically.
If they're only talking real estate, then, you know, it's not gonna be big jobs, it's gonna be.
Depends on what it is.
I did want to start out by stating that, I've stated it all along that, and this was just confirmation of it, that there was no town hall staff member, no elected official that committed any criminal intent or criminal activity. And that's very important, you know. That's one of the key points of his decision.
But what he did say was that there's no evidence, but there was an appearance of favor, but then there should be any, in regard to appearance of favorable treatment should be avoided. He did not, I thought this AG's letter really told us how sloppy we were and that it was not done in a very ethical way. Now, that's my reading of the law.
Mrs. Elton, Selectman Elton.
Oh, I messed it up what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
If someone comes in and asks how many bids, how is that looked at in the public right to know? Can we overrule it with a
A very
policy?
interesting question.
Good question.
I mean, every
We
one
still
we've
don't
ever
know.
had, almost people come in and ask how many bids.
I don't think we
I don't think we know, but based on what he's provided to us as a parameter, that we may want to incorporate some sort of process within our policy to address that. So if somebody questions us, at least we can refer back to the AG's letter on it, our own policy, and then if somebody wants to challenge that further, I guess they can. But I think we're on a little bit firmer ground in terms of reviewing that, and if that's what you decide to do.
How many bids, have we ever had somebody come in and ask how many bids there are? Has that been
That happens all the time.
done?
Yes, it does.
On real estate,
On real estate, on cars, anything that we're selling. We have
people
that
walk in here
conversation.
and ask you how many bids you have.
Walk in here, call me on the phone, any way that they can.
It's a real lot more.
It's very common.
Excuse me?
I said, they're looking for something for nothing. They
Well,
say
right.
there's no bids,
That
we're right here for
that
a
very
go.
well could be. But sometimes folks are just, they see the advertising, they're just curious of the fact that the municipality, because some of them won't even submit a bid.
Hold on, folks,
Well, that's it, they're asking for information.
I'm gonna let the board speak here first.
Yeah, they're asking you for information on the bid, not, I mean, what, that we didn't